What is the best passive income stream so that I can work a little less and reduce my expenses? This is a question that a lot of you ask me about. So since I started my business 4 years ago, I have tried lots of different revenue streams, but not every one of them is as passive as people will have you believe. So what exactly is passive income? Let's get the definition out of the way. Passive income is money that you earn that doesn't require a lot of active work to continue doing it. So in essence, the bulk of the work is done right up front and you don't require a lot of additional effort to continue to make it. So in this video, I am going to be comparing Tripwires versus courses, memberships, as well as self-published ebooks. I have all 4 of these revenue streams. I'm going to give you a breakdown of how they stack up in terms of being passive and also walk you through the pros and cons of each one of these revenue streams. If you're ready, let's go. So let's talk about courses, the so-called holy grail of passive income. So there are lots of different courses. You've got specialist courses, you've got signature courses, you've got starter courses, and each one of them are slightly different, right? I spoke about the differences of each of these different courses in this other video, which you want to check it out. The link is in the description. So courses can range anywhere from $97 for maybe a starter course right up to thousands of dollars for premium or signature courses. And most people say, you know, you only need to sell a couple of spots in your course and you're going to be able to make up your full-time income, or you're going to be able to hit that 5-figure or 6-figure mark. And yes, this is true, but it is not as easy as it is to sell that course, especially if you are new to the online space, especially if you still have a young and growing audience, alright? Which means that you have not really established that authority, you haven't really done as much to build trust with your audience. So when you create a huge paywall and your course is a couple of $1,000s, you're not going to be able to sell it as effortlessly as you wish you could. Let's talk about the pros and cons of having a course as a revenue stream. So pros, obviously, you can create it once, you create all your videos, all your worksheets, and you can keep selling it again. Alright? Now, a course, when you create a course and you do your due diligence, you do enough to establish your authority, you do enough to build trust with your audience, then when you create a specialist course, something that you want to be known for, in a topic that you want to be known for, then it is going to kind of cement your authority or position in the market as someone that people can trust when it comes to this topic of your offer. Okay, another pro is if you are going to sell your course via payment plans, right? So for instance, you can sell a one-time payment, or you can kind of break down that number into part payments, 3-part payments, 6-part payments. I've even seen 12-part payments. Then what this does is you are going to get kind of like a continuous stream of income long after you've launched your course. So let's say you launch your course this month and someone buys it using a 6-part payment plan, then you are going to get that trickle of income right up to that 6-month marker, alright, that someone has purchased. So these are all the pros of using a course. Now let's have a look at the cons of having a course as a passive income revenue stream. Now the first thing is that if you only have live launches as part of your model, okay, of how you're going to bring your course out there, then you are going to get huge dips and spikes in your revenue stream. I mean, think about it, right? If you are launching your course today, your opening cart today, and your cart closes at the end of the week, and then what happens is you're going to get a flood of students joining your course, which is amazing, and you're going to get a huge spike in revenue. But what happens the very next month when you don't have a live launch is that your revenue stream comes crashing down. So when you only have a live launch as a way to sell your course, you're going to get huge dips and spikes in your revenue stream. Okay, now a way to counter that would be to have an evergreen portion of your course selling on auto in the back end, which could be via an automated webinar funnel or could be via an evergreen email sequence. But putting these together, it does take some work, right? You've got lots of different tech that has to kind of integrate and come together. You need to know how to write sequences that convert. You need to know how to put across a webinar that converts, and like I said, you've got lots of different moving pieces to be able to get that evergreen system working for you. So it's not just creating it once and then knowing that it's going to work well. You have to keep testing and tweaking it. So this, I would say, is a major con of having a course as a passive income stream. Now, the next point is dealing with refunds, and this is something that you have to deal with as a content creator in the online space. There are people who will abuse your guarantee policy. There are people who will, have chargebacks, and they will ask for refunds, even if they found the content helpful. All right, so all of this is part and parcel of being a course creator in the online space. So you have to be prepared for that. Don't take it personally. It's just what everyone goes through. But this, I would say, is also a huge con of having a course. Now, another thing is also having to deal with people who default on their payment plans. So it's good to offer payment plans because it gives people more options to join in on your course. But when you have extended payment plans like 6-part or 12-month payment plans, there are people who will default on these payments. So which means that they may have consumed all of your content, but they might default on the 3rd month or the 4th month, and then that's it. You're not going to get any more payments from those students. So this is also a reality of having a course. So these are the pros and cons of having a course, and what you would kind of realize that it's not a set and forget it kind of a process, right? You can't just create it once and then just keep selling it again and again and again. There are lots of different things that are dynamic, that would shift. Your audience might shift. You might need to tweak the emails in your sales deck. You might need to tweak the emails in your evergreen email sequence. So it's not as passive as people would want you to believe. There are lots of things that you need to test and consolidate and tweak in order to get your course to keep working for you and to keep serving your audience as well. Now, let's talk about self-published books on Amazon. One of the things that a lot of people believe in that is absolutely not true, it's a huge myth, okay, is that self-publishing a book on a platform like Amazon is free. It's not free at all, okay? Especially if you want to do it well, you would need to hire a designer for your cover. You do need to get some help with editing. You do need to perhaps hire someone to help you with the formatting of your book before you upload it onto Amazon. Yes, Amazon as a platform, it does not charge you a fee to get your book uploaded. It is purely once you have your cover, once you have it formatted, you can just upload that PDF version or whatever format you're going to upload your book in onto Amazon, and then Amazon is going to publish it for you. It does take a cut out of each sale, but nothing about this process is absolutely free. So this is a huge myth that a lot of people have. So let's talk about the pros and cons of self-publishing a book on Amazon. So the pros is obviously you are going to be able to leverage Amazon's immensely huge platform. All right, so if you do it well, okay, meaning you play by the rules of Amazon, you write your description in a way that Amazon likes, okay, and you see the books that are doing well in your niche. Look at the way those authors are writing their descriptions. Look at the ways those authors are creating their covers, writing their subtitles and titles, and obviously you're not going to use the very same format. All right, you want to make it your own, but looking at other people within your niche who are also creating books in your niche, this will give you an idea of what does well and what doesn't. So take that format and then use it for your book. So this is what I mean by playing the rules of the platform. So you also want to have those keywords in place so Amazon's algorithm knows how to find your books and show your books to the right people. All right, if you do all of this, then you are going to be able to leverage Amazon's traffic. Now, the next point I would say is that it's relatively inexpensive apart from the initial setup fees. So yes, in the initial part, you've got to pay your editor, you've got to pay your designer, you've got to possibly pay for your formatting. Yes, I do know plenty of authors that do all of these themselves, but we all have our strengths and weaknesses. So if design is not really in your strength, it is good to hire someone to do it for you. Or if you're not really someone who is able to format it very well, then it's good to get someone to do it for you, right? And it will pay off. You would not want to work so hard on your manuscript and then have a really lousy cover, and that is just not going to pop off Amazon's scroll, right, or Amazon's feed, and you just don't want this to happen to you. So yes, there are initial setup fees, but over time there isn't really much that you need to put in for the maintenance of a book, unless of course you want to change up the cover, unless of course you want to update your book. But apart from that, you won't really incur any cost after that. Okay, another huge opportunity, another point is that if you know how to bring back those readers onto your email list, then you are going to be able to nurture those readers and get them to go on to consume your other pieces of content or your other paid products. So I've got lots of people finding me on Amazon and then getting into my so-called ecosystem, right? They get onto my email list, they go through my email sequences, and then they end up as a member in my Edited Business Academy, and then they purchase my other courses as well. So you need to be able to get them back onto your email list and then nurture them, build a relationship with them. Yes, it does take time, but it's really worth it. And this is a huge pro, I would say, of publishing a book on Amazon. Now let's talk about the cons of self-publishing a book on Amazon. You do need to have an audience of some size in order to be able to do this pretty well, right? You don't need a huge audience, but some sizable audience would be good so that you can get the ball rolling when it comes to reviews, alright, which Amazon does see favorably. So if you have an audience of your own that you can tap into, once you publish the book, you can get them to go and leave you reviews or get them to purchase your book, whether it is $1.99 or 99 cents, or even if it's $2.99. This gets the ball rolling and it gets the algorithm working for you. The algorithm sees that, hey, there is interest in this book, so let's find more people, and based on your keywords, let's show this to more people who are similar to the people who are purchasing the book right now. So what this does is it is going to find you an audience that is pretty similar, could be pretty similar to the audience that you already have. And if you know how to bring them back to your site, that's a good thing. But to start off, it would be great if you have a small audience before you consider self-publishing as a revenue stream. So if you've taken a look at my other video, I shared this diagram that showed the different tiers of digital products that I kind of recommend people do in different stages. And self-publishing is something that I do include at a later stage because of this very reason. It's not something that I recommend if you don't have an audience. Now, another huge con is that you do need to, do some work to get continuous eyeballs on your Amazon books. That could be Facebook ads, that could be Amazon ads. It could also be leaving links to that book within your existing content, promoting that book within your platform. That could be Pinterest, that could be LinkedIn, it could be Facebook, it could be a group within Facebook. Alright, you do need to take some effort to promote that book because every book kind of has a shelf life, and Amazon kind of favors new books, which is obviously new content for its audience, right? New content for its customers, new content for its buyers. So it's not impossible for a book that is published a couple of years ago to still get sales. For instance, I've got a lot of books that I created in 2017 and 2018 that still bring me a healthy amount of sales every single month till today. Okay, but you do need to do that back-end work so that people know this book exists. So if you're able to do this well, you will kind of turn this negative point into a positive one. Now let's talk about memberships. There are lots of different models that you can create for your membership site. You can have just a training model, alright, where you only have trainings for your membership. You can have a community-based model where the community is the center of that membership. You can also have like a coaching-based model where it's purely driven by your one-on-one coachings or your group coachings, or you can kind of have a hybrid model, which is a mix of a little bit of all of them. Okay, but most memberships have one model taking a primary role and another model taking more of a secondary role. So I waited a good 4 years after I started my business before launching my membership site, the Addictive Business Academy. So the primary role of that membership is the training portion of it, and then the secondary role is the access to me and the group coaching calls and all of that. Okay, so memberships, let's talk about the pros and cons. So the positive point is obviously it's a recurring income, right? If you have 100 members joining your membership and then you're able to keep them, then this is going to be a recurring stream of income. People are going to keep paying you every single month. So it's not a one and done transaction, it is a continuing transaction. Another positive point of a membership is that it's a different way to serve your audience. It's a little bit different from just having a course, which is, you take them from maybe 1 month to 3 months. Once the transformation of the course is done, or once they've gone through the course content, then you're done with that. Okay, a membership is more of an ongoing relationship. Depending on the model of your membership, you will really be able to build a closer connection with your members and understand their businesses, their lives better via a membership model. Now, let's take a look at the negatives or the cons of having a membership. Now, if you are brand new to the online space, you don't really have much of an audience, this is not something that I would recommend that you start off with. So I'm going back to this picture over here. A membership is something that I only recommend for the later stages, right? So it is a lot easier to sell a membership, not as a first product, but if you have an existing audience, they have had a taste of your paid content, and then it's easier to sell them on your membership. Okay, because a membership is a recurring cost, and not everyone is comfortable with this recurring cost because they're not going to know if they're going to be using that content on a daily basis or a weekly basis. So this would mean that quite a number of people will not be as comfortable to sign up for your membership because of this recurring fee. Now, another negative is the churn that comes with a membership. Not everyone that signs up is going to stay right through. You are going to have people leaving every single month. So you do need to do your due diligence. You need to have a really solid onboarding sequence that walks people through how to consume the content in your membership, how to make full use of the membership. All right, you need to support people through that so that your churn on a month-to-month basis is a lot lesser. You also need to give continuing value. So it's not like a one and done thing like a course. All right, it's something that you need to show up every single month and deliver continuing value so that people see the need for your membership in their lives, all right, for their day-to-day work, depending on the niche that you're serving. So the more they see the necessity of your membership, the more they see how essential your membership is to their business or their life or their work, the more they're going to stay on and continue to pay for that membership. So this is again a kind of like a thing that you need to work on. It's a negative, but if you do the right things, you can turn this into a pro or a positive point as well. Now let's talk about Tripwires. Tripwires are low-cost or bite-sized products. These are typically inexpensive. You can be selling them anywhere from $7.17, $27, $39, $49, right? And this is usually something that you offer your audience as soon as they sign up. I spoke about this in quite a bit of detail in this other video. I am going to leave the link in the description as well. So a Tripwire, and I have a couple of Tripwires. Let's talk about the pros and cons of Tripwires, right? Now, the positive thing about a Tripwire is that it's going to allow you to convert someone from a casual reader or a subscriber to a buyer quite fast. Alright, and the reason is because of the nature of your Tripwire. Number one, it's a bite-sized product, so it should be pretty easy to understand depending on the topic that you pick for your Tripwire, right? It has to be something that's easy to understand. It has to be something that your audience identifies as something that they need help with, or they have a pain point and that they're looking to solve that. Okay, and it's also something that is pretty inexpensive, so they're not going to have a lot of resistance to clicking that buy button and purchasing that bite-sized product. So these are the positives of a Tripwire, because the first sale is the hardest to make. Okay, and if you're going to make it easy for someone to make that first sale, to kind of transcend from just being a subscriber or a reader to someone that buys from you, and once they get a taste of that paid content and they're satisfied with that, they are going to go on and purchase other products from you. This is what a good Tripwire does. Now, another huge positive point of a Tripwire is that it's one of the first products that you can put out there, especially if you're still growing your audience. So it's not something, because of the nature of it, because it's low cost, and it doesn't create a lot of resistance with your audience, you are going to be able to put it out there and get validation for it very quickly. Alright, because if you are going to get more and more people joining your list, then every time someone joins your list, they're going to be able to look at that Tripwire, alright? They're going to see that Tripwire, and if your Tripwire is well packaged, you're going to get a sale, and you're going to be able to validate your Tripwire pretty fast. You're going to be able to know if, alright, this works, this doesn't, and it's going to happen pretty quickly. You don't have to wait for a huge launch to know if, this is a product that works or it doesn't. So that is, I would say, a huge pro, or a huge positive point of a Tripwire. Now, the cons or the negative points, honestly, I can't think of any. Alright, the only thing I would say is you have to keep your ears and eyes on the ground and keep listening to the social conversation going on in your niche. What are your audience saying? Is this still a pain point that's relevant, or do you need to change your Tripwire? So this is not specific to Tripwire. This is for any digital product for that matter. Your audience shifts, their pain points shifts. So accordingly, you need to change your offers, your messaging as well. So having had a look of all of this, for me, the most passive of them all are my Amazon books, followed by my Tripwires, my membership, and then my courses. So I don't know, maybe you're surprised by this order, okay, but this is generally what has worked well for me. So the thing with the Amazon self-published ebooks is you can't just publish one ebook and then expect it to be a huge major source of passive income for you. It doesn't work that way, right? For me, I was very intentional about making it a huge revenue stream, and I wanted it to be a pretty big passive income revenue stream, which is why, if you've noticed, I've continuously published one book after the other since my very first one in 2017. So you need to be able to put books out there for you to build up ebooks, self-published ebooks, as a solid source of passive income. So if you've got any questions at all about which revenue stream is the right one for you for your stage, drop them in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give me a like, hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.